This is why I'm such a huge Nate Diaz guy, because there's nobody like him. Not in his sport, not in any sport. And as I always say, saying something sucks is not a take, unless it's Nate Diaz saying that the reason he has not been fighting is because everybody else sucks. Then it's not only a take, it's one of the best takes ever. And he said, there's only a couple of gangsters left in this sport, but I'm the West Coast gangster. I mean, it's so good on every single level and such a good call out. So, the fight that we all need, the fight that we all want, the fight to determine the BMF is set. Or maybe it's not. It was set, and now it's on, or it's off, maybe, sort of. I mean, it's not like it's even clear, because there was an announcement made yesterday. That Nate Diaz had an issue with a drug test. Now, notice my wording right here. There has not been an announcement of a suspension. And as of last night, Diaz had not been provisionally suspended. And notice, I also did not say that the UFC announced or that USADA announced that Nate Diaz had failed a test. I didn't say that because it was Nate Diaz himself who announced the results of a drug test. And he announced it in a way that only Nate Diaz could. In other words, in a manner which was awesome. You see, we don't know how any athlete is going to react to a failed drug test. Actually, we do know, because they always react the same way. We've seen it play out time and time again. There really are only a couple of different ways that athletes react to a failed drug test. There's the I didn't knowingly take, I would never cheat version. Or there's the blame a tainted substance version. It's not my fault. I just unknowingly ingested some tainted meat or a tainted supplement. It's usually one of those two ways, except not with Nate. Nate was not going there, especially since Nate is on record as being really outspoken against PEDs. And Nate is on record as being different than anybody else. So there was no way he was just going to say what everybody else always says in that situation. Nope. My man released a notes screenshot with the following statement, and it reads, I'm not going to make it out to NYC for fight week next week because they say I tested with elevated levels that they say might be for some tainted supplements. I call false on that because I only take whole food or natural food supplements. I don't even eat meat. End quote. All right, so there's an amazing start right there. I mean, I guess that's him announcing that there was a failed test, but he did it by saying, I'm not going to make it out to NYC for fight week next week. See, that doesn't sound like a guy who failed a test. That sounds like a guy who had to cancel his plans to come to your party. Yeah, I'm not going to make it out. Sorry about that. My bad. Something just came up. Sorry, y'all, but have a great time. But see, that was just a casual start with just him walking to the ring, because now he's about to let the hands go. He went on, and I quote, so until UFC, USADA, or whoever is bleeping with me fixes it, I won't be competing. I'm not going to play their game or try to hide it or keep quiet as they suggested. I'm not going to have my name tainted as a cheater like these other mother bleepers who keep quiet until after the fight just so they can get paid. Bleeping cheaters. End quote. And replace any of the bleeps with F-bombs, because that's what he said. Let me translate that for you, though. One of you loser organizations has framed me. And I'm not going to fight until you mother bleepers come correct, own it, and straighten it out. Get your damn acts together and knock it off. And don't even think about suspending me. Too late. I'm suspending myself until you jerkweeds get it right. You're accusing me of cheating. You know who the hell I am? I don't even eat meat. The only thing I take is Whole Foods. I cheat. You know who the hell I am. I cheat. I cheat. Yeah, you bleeping cheat. I didn't fail a test. You faked it, you bleeping cheaters. Man, I love that Nate doesn't take drugs. He takes Whole Foods. What an amazing line. I don't take drugs. I take Whole Foods. Yeah, he takes Whole Foods, and I take In-N-Out. He takes Whole Foods. I take Mag's Donuts. But this isn't about me. It's about the legend. And that legend is dropping some serious hammer fists now, especially when he says, quote, they suggested, end quote, that he keep quiet until after the fight. Now, I don't know who they is, and I don't know if they really suggested that, but I know Nate is pissed. And now Nate is looking to go for the finish. Quote, I don't give a bleep about some money over my dignity and my legacy. I'm not playing along with this bull bleep. I'm not staying quiet and figuring it out after the fight. That's cheating. So, fight game, I'll see you when I see you. Sincerely, the realest, baddest mother bleeper in the game. End quote. Man, the only thing better than him signing his statement with, quote, the realest, baddest mother bleeper in the game is that he included a fist emoji at the end of it. And the only thing better than that is the fact that he tweeted out the screenshot with the caption, quote, you're all on steroids, not me. I mean, he is so awesome. There are multiple ways for people to respond to failed drug tests. It wasn't me. It was a tainted supplement. I didn't knowingly do this. But nobody ever responded to a failed drug test by saying, you're all on roids, not me. You're all on steroids, not me. That is the best. I didn't fail a test. You all failed a test. You failed a test for honesty. Bleep you. I'm going to give myself a 1-year suspension. You know what? I might roll that into a career-ending suspension if you a-holes don't pull your heads out. Oh, I just appealed my own suspension of myself. And that appeal was denied. Now I have a 2-year suspension. And best of all, well, not best of all because Nate is best of all, but Jorge Masvidal is pissed. Not at Nate, but he's pissed that the fight may not come off and he's not having it. In fact, he's got Nate's back. He tweeted, quote, you not the baddest mofo in the game. I am. But you are one of the cleanest mofos. Nate, I'll see you November 2nd. I know your name is clean. I don't need USADA to tell me bleep. So he's not accepting it either. I don't need USADA to tell me bleep is a great ending to a tweet. And he was not alone. Masvidal was not alone. One fighter after another jumped on Twitter to say they would fight if Nate can't or Nate won't. And, you know, if guys are tweeting about a failed drug test, it was only a matter of time before John Jones came flying in. And Jones somehow made it all about himself. Jones retweeted Nate's statement with, quote, and just like that, years of hard work discredited overnight with one phone call, end quote. And then Jones chased it with, quote, not many people in the world know what you're feeling right now. I do. Keep your head up, man. I knew I was innocent and was willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and countless hours with scientists and lawyers to prove it. I know you feel like someone is setting you up. That's exactly how I felt. At times, it's going to feel like a pretty hopeless situation, but maybe it's not. You can't just give up and do nothing. This is a different type of fight, man. You owe it to your fans to fight. End quote. Yeah, John, thanks. Thanks a lot for that, John. Except no one was looking for your opinion on this, John. Or really any opinion at all on anything. Especially your opinion on drugs, John. Unless it's how to take them. And stop making this about you, John. Only John Jones would see Nate Diaz possibly getting jammed and somehow try to use it to say, see, I didn't do it. When he almost assuredly did do it. Jones, I mean. So now we play the waiting game. The fight is still a week away. The fight is still on. Except that does not mean Nate is going to show up. Because Nate's not going to show up to fight for you bleeping cheaters. Remember, you're all on roids, not him. Man, I just hope Nate changes his mind. I hope that Nate changes his mind and enters the octagon because Jim Rome needs to see who really is the baddest mother bleeper. A West Coast gangster or an East Coast gangster? You think you can handle Jorge? You tell me. Does this sound like a guy on roids? That sounds 100% natural to me, USADA. You want some? Jorge, you're a badass. I know it, man. You scare me. You scare everybody. But you don't scare Nate. You know why? Because Nate can do this. Come on, Nate. Listen, Nate, I know your integrity is not for sale. I know your legacy is not for sale. Nate, think of the rest of us, if not yourself, or your legacy, or your dignity. Think of this, Nate. You cannot get that out of a bottle. You think you can pull this out of a bottle? No chance. Come on, Nate. Man, I love it. Can you tell? I love Nate Diaz. So much so that I'm going to start a Friday. Not with the NBA, not with the NFL, not with college football, not with the NHL, not even with the World Series. I'm going to start Friday with a... I was thinking back to yesterday when this all went down. Man, what must be going through Dana White's head? Dana White, like me, loves Nate Diaz, but unlike me, has to do business with Nate Diaz. I asked Dana what that was like when he was in studio recently.
Dealing with Nate personally is great. You know, I say this all the time about, Nate is like this guy. What people love about him is like he's saying F you to the man all the time, right? But he never really says F you to the man. He never really does. When you meet Nate, Nate's a great guy. I've always had a great relationship with the kid. Business-wise, he's an absolute nightmare.
How so?
I saw an interview with him that he did with ESPN the other day where he's saying he's never turned down a fight. Let me just explain something to you and the fans. By contract, I owe every fighter on my roster 3 fights a year. If I do not, get them a fight, 3 fights in a 1-year period, I owe them. I have to pay them. I've never paid them. I've never paid Nate Diaz to not fight. So it's never happened. So there's the facts, right? So when he says he doesn't turn down fights, of course you turn down fights. Or I'd be paying you a ton of money every year to not fight.
I bet if Nate were here, what Nate would say to that is, oh yeah? How about you get some of this? Would you like some of this? He's the best. All right, so where do you come out? Do you think Nate's going to be there? Now, again, he has not been provisionally suspended. Nate's whole point is, even if I'm not suspended, it doesn't mean I'm showing up. Not until you cheaters and you Reuters come correct.